can you be successful at the SEMA show? Peter opened talking about the key points of light for you at the show. You know, the new products program. You could have a card table and chairs. And we talked about a lot of logistical things, the booth, the freight, the material handling, the graphics, the sign. We talked about a lot of things, probably more than you can consume. You know, I know you have copious notes on everything. But the one element that is very difficult for us to tell you or teach you is how do you get people in your booth and how do you talk to them? What do I do to win them over? Our business is about relationships. Those of you in the room are all in business. You know, think right now. You could name your customers. You can name their wives, their children. You have bonded with them because you know that just selling them a product and then walking away is not going to be successful for you in the long haul. Because what this is about, and I've always felt like when I sell somebody, I want them for life. So if the life expectancy is 80 or 85 years and I've got a 40-year-old customer in front of me, could I have that customer for 40 years? What is it going to take to do that? It's about building a relationship. It's about keeping them involved, making them part of your business family. So what I want to do this morning is try and impart some of the basic things that you should do and not do in order to be successful at the show. So we'll go through this. The Sin City players are going to be acting out some of this. It's going to be very quick. And then we have Freeman coming on with a couple of programs, very similar. Probably not X-rated like ours is. All this is in relation to being successful at the show. Now, I want to start with a video that I recorded a couple years ago. And it's a short video. I'm not going to bore you. But this is about how to be successful at the SEMA show. The ultimate goal is to be a success. How do we define success? It's defined in different ways depending on your objective. Now, if your objective was to go to the show to meet new customers, how many did you meet? Did you come away from the show with 50 qualified leads? Did you come away from the show with 10 new customers who will write orders within 30 days of the show? You should have that objective or some objective in doing that. Now, some companies don't have that as their objective. Many companies have as their mission to fly the flag, to build their brand. It's about branding their company. Now, this is especially true if you're a newer company and one that isn't clearly recognizable by the buyers in the industry. So you want to really build and push your brand. In order to do that, you have to have a different plan than the person who's just going there to get leads. Other companies have a belief that they just need to be there because this is the consummate event in the industry worldwide. There is nothing more important than the SEMA show. And if you believe what I've just said, that it is the most important event, then you will dedicate your effort to accomplishing all of these objectives. So just to recap, we're talking about building our brand. We're talking about getting leads. Now, of course, along the way, all your customers are going to be there. You really want to look good to your customers. Your customers are proud they're buying from you. They don't want to walk into a second-rate exhibit. They want to be talked to as soon as they come in the booth. So all the things that go into servicing your customer. And consider this. Your factory is in the eastern part of the United States. You have a customer in the western part. They rarely get an opportunity to meet the principals. Here is a chance for them to sit down with the owner of the company, with the entrepreneur, with the manager, with whomever, with their sales guy, and bench raise, talk turkey, talk about some issues, technical things. It's just so much can be consumed in that 140 period in the show. You cannot miss any opportunity. Okay, defining success. One of the key points of that video, your customers are going to be there. I venture to say some of you in the room have no customers. You're a new company and you need to get customers. But to those of you who do have customers now, you've already made the investment in them. You need to make sure that they get the treatment at the show that you are trying to do to get new customers. So now what we're going to do is we're going to demonstrate a couple things that will help you be better prepared. When we were just on the tour of North Hall with our group, one of the things I said was, if you're by yourself in the booth, you can't go to the bathroom, you can't go eat, you need to be there in the booth every minute. You need to make an arrangement for somebody to bring you a sandwich. I don't know about going to the bathroom to figure that out. But the reality of it is, this is a small window of the 365-day year of your business. It's 4 days. It's 4 days that set the 2013 for you. That's what really this is about. This is going to determine how successful you're going to be in 2013. Don't miss a step. Don't do anything wrong. Don't risk anything. Don't take a chance. So now with that, and I'm going to apologize up front if you're offended, but get over it. Okay, here we go. The first thing we're going to do is, well, I'll tell you after we do it.
Hey, almost showtime. Are you dressed?
I am. That's a cool shirt. Are you a football player?
No, just a fan. What's with the shorts? Going to the beach?
Do you think it's too edgy for SEMA?
No way. Have you seen the babes at the SEMA show?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Now, there's a lot of message in here. How do you dress at the show? Well, first of all, you've probably heard me say this 5 times since you're here. Brand yourself. The best way to be is to have a branded logo shirt of some sort, men and women. The second thing is, don't do something that's outlandish. You don't want people looking at your shirt or your blouse or whatever and not your face. This is about face-to-face business. That's what trade shows are about. You know, when the .com thing hit back in the early 2000s, late 90s, everybody talked about, I think face-to-face business is going to go away. People are going to do business on the internet, and they're going to live in igloos and never leave them. And you know what? It's gone the other way. Face-to-face has become more important. The internet is one-dimensional. Face-to-face is three-dimensional. And until they figure out a way for you to jump out of that screen, this is going to be the right medium for you to do business. You need to dress properly. But add to that, you need to take care of yourself in a way that nothing will divert the eyes, the ears, the mouth of a buyer who's in your booth or coming to your booth. Sometimes when we walk the show, at the end of the day, we'll do a critique. And we'll talk about, did you go by such and such a booth? Can you believe that woman in the booth? I mean, she barely was dressed. Well, a lot of people think it's good to have somebody like that just to attract people to the booth. But who are you attracting? This takes away from your product. Now, granted, you might come up with some unusual thing to do. Just make sure you look at it. Ask somebody in your office who's unrelated to the show, what do you think of this? What would be your attitude if I dressed like this? So, with that, we're going to do another little skit here. We're ready for scene number 2.
How the hell are you?
Do you sell fish? Because your handshake feels like a dead mackerel. You need to have a firm handshake doing business. And by the way, you shouldn't have garlic fries at a trade show. Here, have some Listerine. You can have mine.
Okay.
See you later.
Do you want to know something? Number one offense at a trade show is bad breath. You know, you turn people off immediately. All they are going to do, if you're talking to someone and all of a sudden they're looking around at your booth and they're looking down the aisle to see who's coming, you got bad breath. And there's more than one of you there, do a little breath test. So have breath mints with you. And be careful what you eat that week you're in Vegas. I mean, if you stuff yourself with garlic, you're going to have that situation. Jeff was standing there sort of leisurely like this. You don't want to do that. You want to have good posture. And right now, all we're talking about are the preparatory things. We haven't gotten to the buyer yet. We're talking about the things that you need to do so you look acceptable for us to come in your booth. So be sure and take heed of this. And you know what? Don't be afraid to say something that's uncomfortable to say. Your shoes are dirty. You have bad breath. Your hair's not combed. Your shirt's not pressed. Because of the final analysis, there's no extra time to do anything. Now, one of the things I always tell exhibitors, the show opens at 9, don't show up at 8:45. I don't care if you had a bad night the night before. I don't care if you went to the girly clubs. I don't care if you gambled. You should be there no later than an hour before the show. Because in that hour, you can prepare yourself. You know, actors, singers, they need time just before they go on to get in the groove, to get in the zone. You need to do the same. And each night, you need to have a critique meeting after the show. How did it go today? What did we do right? Did our booth work? Did our display work? What was the acceptance of our product? Did we hear some stuff we didn't want to hear? Because one of the things that happens at a trade show, your customers will come in and people will come in and talk about the technical side of your product, especially if they're having difficulty. And some will just be there to compliment you. So in order to get off on the right foot, have good posture, standing in the booth with your arms crossed, hands in your pocket. And to the ladies, I say to you, no cleavage. Dress professionally and conservatively. You don't want to take attention away from the eyes. Just remember, you always want eye contact. If you observe eye contact, well, before I go into that one, let's do the next couple skits and then we'll talk about it. Okay, here we go.
Hey.
Hi.
It's important I get your information so I can follow up with you after the show like a good salesperson. Give me that badge. So
Hey, excuse me. Don't touch me. This is your personal space. This is mine. I'm happy to give you my badge, but don't touch me.
Okay. You didn't get away with that. But you know, I know that's funny, but the truth of the matter is people do that. And that was a guy and a gal. Two guys can't do that either, and two women shouldn't do it. If you want to read somebody's badge and put it through the lead retrieval machine, you need to ask for it. They might say no. Because keep in mind, that contains a lot of information about their company and about them. It's not just their name. So do that professionally as well. I mean, Susan was a little over the top, you know, but the truth of the matter is you need the information. So you want to do what it takes to get it properly. Okay, let's do the next one.
Hi, I'm Casey. It's a pleasure to meet you. You're from St. Louis. I love St. Louis. I'm from Philadelphia. Our weather has been amazing in Philly. How's your weather been?
I don't say anything.
That means I've had bad weather. Okay, stay there. I want to go right into the next one.
Are we doing it again?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Casey. I see you're from Parts Galore. I've been reading up on your company on the website. I'm really impressed with everything you've been doing. Can you tell me more about what you do with the company?
Okay, there's two different approaches. The key thing in both approaches is the question she asked could not be answered yes or no. Never answer a question that you don't want to hear the answer. So if you ask a question, how's the show? Lousy. What do you say? How are you feeling? Bad. Are you having a good day? No. So you need to craft your greeting to the individual. The individual who walked in first, she didn't know from Adam. She saw the badge. She saw Philadelphia, and she made the statement about the weather. It's an icebreaker. That's what this is all about. When I was going to college, I was selling cars, and I went to a training class, and one of the things they taught me in the training class was shake their hand and don't let go. And I said, what do you mean don't let go? Don't let go until their mouth is moving. They have to be talking. And hang on to that hand as long as it takes for them to talk. Now, we're not selling cars. But the principle of this is I need to engage them. I need to get them in conversation. Because ultimately, what are we going to talk about? Let's do the next skit.
Okay. Sheldon.
Hello. Jen?
I'm waiting for Sheldon. Hi, I'm Jennifer. Pleased to meet you. I want you to come in my booth and check out my new product. We're a new manufacturer, and we're the first time at the SEMA show. We're super excited. Tell me a little bit about your company.
Okay. So that was another approach. She started off by saying, I'm a new manufacturer. I'm a new exhibitor at the SEMA show. She wanted to start conversation. This is what it's all about. Now, there is no proven way to start a greeting. You have to do what's comfortable for you. But stay away from those one-word answers. Do your best to engage the person. And something else I learned about selling at the car level, you need to break down sales resistance. People, all of us, sitting here in this room, we have a natural sales resistance when we go in someplace and the salesman comes up. Now, if the salesman comes up and says, may I help you? You can say, no, get the hell out of here. You don't want that to happen. So I'm putting a lot of emphasis on this. But it's sort of like when you get to a hotel and you get to the front desk. First experience at the front desk is bad. What do you think of that hotel? If the first thing a customer buys from you doesn't get delivered when you promise it, what do they think of you? So it's about under promise, over deliver, have that first impression be absolutely the best. Okay, let's go to the next one.
Hey, I'm Mike.
How's it going?
Nice to meet you. Hey, you want to see our new welder? We're first-time exhibitor here at the show.
Definitely.
All right. Hey, what was your name? I didn't get it.
Okay. What did he do wrong? He had his phone in his hand. This has become a nemesis. I can tell you, I call it the evil BlackBerry, the evil iPhone, the evil cell phone. Right now, I'll bet you that 20% of the room is either on a laptop, an iPad, a cell phone or a BlackBerry right now? Okay? I'm not going to ask you to raise your hands because I can see them. Okay. You know, we've become so accustomed to, in whatever we do. Doesn't it really piss you off when you're waiting at a light and someone's head is down? They're not looking at their steering wheel. They're looking at this. I know this is hard to do. Some of you who are older, it's probably easier because you remember when we didn't have these. But could you leave your phone or BlackBerry in the hotel? No. So now this requires extreme discipline. You and your staff in the booth have to have a rule. The only time we look is when we're out of the booth. So if you want to make a call, you want to check your email, you want to see that text that came in that gave you the score of the Eagles game, get out of the booth. Because this is the worst interrupter in the world, is to have somebody looking at a phone when you're trying to sell buyer. In the old days when I used to speak about how to work the booth, in the pre-technology days, the big crime was, and it's still committed today, I'm standing in the booth and I'm talking to Moses, and here I am having a conversation. Hey, George, how the hell are you? It's good to see you at the show. Hey, Moses, we were talking about never let yourself do that. You're going to be challenged. Your best customer walks by, and you're talking to somebody who maybe isn't even qualified to buy from you. What do? You stay with the customer you're talking to. I know a retailer had a little muffler shop. One store probably did a couple $100,000 a year maximum. Ended up with 165 stores doing $30 million a year. So you don't know about that one person. It's very vital that you stay focused on your mission. How am I going to be a success? What is my mission? Okay, let's do the next one. You think that's an exaggeration? It's not. It's not. I'm just appalled. First of all, the chairs in the booth are not for you. You're never sitting unless a buyer is sitting with you. And if you only have one chair available, the buyer gets it. Never sit. I mean, you're going to end up doing this all the time. You're going to lean on some table and your feet are going to be killing you. But you just got to suck it up. Now, she was on her iPad or phone or whatever. She was distracted. And it's like distracted driving, you know? You get distracted driving, you have an accident. That was an accident. She lost an opportunity. Okay. Let's see that exhibitor again with the show manager.
So it's move out. So, how was your show?
It was lousy. No one came by. I had a crappy spot. I was like in a corner. Nobody even walked by my booth.
I'm really sorry.
Okay. Well, we saw the first part of that. The second part now makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? People say to me, where are the bad booths in the show? And I said, wherever you put them. Because all the booths that I have are good booths. It's just that the engine that's running the car doesn't always work. So that's really what this is about. No matter where your booth is in the show, SEMA does everything possible to drive traffic to your booth. But we can't run the booth. It is really, really important to understand how to measure your success at the show. Return on investment, ROI, is a very challenging thing to measure at a trade show. Why? Because only a small percentage of people make actual sales. Now, I want to qualify that a little bit, because one thing I have learned is that new exhibitors and smaller exhibitors have a better chance of writing an order at a trade show than a big company. The big companies have programmed themselves not to write orders. First of all, if you're a major company and you have, I'll pick one of the big chains, AutoZone, as a customer. When you're at the show, AutoZone's probably not going to come by and talk to you. You hear those buyers make a comment about this. You know, I'm there for new stuff. I don't need to see my old vendor. Well, that's not totally true. They need to see some of their vendors. But I know when I was a buyer, and by the way, I was the guy with that muffler shop. And when I was not the one-store muffler shop, but when I was doing $30 million, I never went to a trade show and expected my supplier to show me something that I hadn't seen before. You better show it to me as soon as you have it. So to the supplier, there are certain customers they deal with one way. You're there to get new customers. The vendors, the buyers there maybe to get new products. So again, you have to understand the reasoning. From a personality standpoint, you have to be the kind of person who is assertive. You have to be, and by the way, your staff has to be this way. One of the things we talked about in the budget meeting, I think probably talked about in the planning meeting too, is how key it is to create a team that's producing the booth at the show. And you should probably do that about now. And I was talking to somebody yesterday who said, well, me and two others, we're the team. We're the company. Well, you still need to do that. And you need to have a meeting every couple of weeks, talk about progress. Where are we? Let's update. And if you have more people in the company, and only some of them are working the show, it's vital to meet with them on a regular basis. Make sure everybody understands their role. And to you who are owners, who are entrepreneurs, who are the bosses, no exceptions. Inflexible when it comes to the rules of the show. You're 24/7, I'm your mother. Now, that also means, what are you doing when it's not showtime? What are you doing out in the city? Especially if you're branded. Don't do anything to embarrass your company. You only want positive things to happen. You want to go back from the SEMA show and say, this was the best damn show I ever had. Okay, a little more on this in a minute, but now we're going to start with the Freeman side of the program. And as I said, this isn't going to be X-rated, I don't think. Okay, Eric.
Oh, I got to check my email. Just kidding. Yeah? Yeah?
Do you find any loopholes to save us any money?
Loopholes?
Yeah, loopholes, I'm spending too much already.
Gee, Dan, I don't know if it's a loophole or not, but you know there's a 1,000-pound POV package program that SEMA's got together that can help you get your materials in at no additional cost to you?
No clue.
You can go to one of the POV doors if you have under 1,000 pounds of materials in your vehicle. They'll unload it and bring it to your booth, and it's not a loophole, Dan.
Get out of here, Freeman.
I wouldn't kid you about
Wait,
that.
this was my plan. Think they'd catch on?
No, Dan, you don't have to hide that box.
You sure?
Yes, you don't have to hide it. It's
All right.
okay. There's several doors in each hall that are designated as carry doors. You can carry in that box the door, and you don't have to hide it under your jacket.
All right, no union guys?
No,
legit.
Dan,
Okay.
you can just walk up to that door and carry your materials in that box, although I don't think you have any more Tiffany pens in your box, but
No, that's empty. My wife got those.
thank you.
Okay. Interesting. You've heard about the POV program. There are actually two programs. You can hand carry your freight in, just like Eric said, and you don't have to hide the boxes. This is a union hall. And the Teamsters Union, Electricians Union, the Riggers Union, and go on and on and on. But Freeman brings in 1,000 people to help build the show, to help do the labor for you and things like that. It's an incredible effort. But the people who they bring in are not Freeman employees. They're union staff. They're temporary people. It's really important when anybody is talking to you about what you're doing, what's involved with the show, and they don't have the badge like Eric has, a hard plastic badge like mine. That's not a Freeman employee. That's probably a Teamster person. There's a union person, a casual labor person. Come to us, go to Freeman. We don't want you to be hassled. The one thing we don't want to happen is for you to contact us after the show and say, I want to tell you what happened to us at the show. No, tell us what happened while you're at the show so we can mitigate things, so we can fix it. It's very, very important to take advantage of the things that are going to save you money. We allow you to hand carry your freight in. There are hand carry locations to go in. We have the POV program. You use that program. Those two programs are almost everybody in the room can use. Okay, Eric.
Man, why does it take so long to get your freight back?
You mean your empty boxes?
My empty boxes.
Well, let me tell you, Kevin. This year at SEMA 2012, there's a new program for booths that are 300 square feet or less. If you see one of the floor managers, if you see one of the Freeman concierge reps, or go to the service desk, you can get a special label that you can label your crates and boxes so you get your empties back first.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, it's an easy program, and they just came out with it because they addressed that some of the smaller exhibitors are the ones that have to get their flights at 4:05 when the show closes at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, but I bet Mr. Jackson can get my freight back pretty quick.
Now, wait a minute. Do you give Mr. Jackson, you do tip at the baggage claim at Southwest also?
No.
Well, if you don't tip there, if you just tipping just mitigates the whole process. It perpetuates the tipping process, and it makes it worse for all of us. So keep your money, or go gamble with it in Las Vegas.
Do that, that's for sure.
And if you do find someone accepting tips, make sure you report it to someone from the show, like someone like me with a hard badge on Freeman. Well, because if you do that, then we can get them off the floor. Las Vegas is a call-by-name union town, and if we don't call them by name, they don't show up. We like to get those people off the floor.
Good tip, thanks.
Okay, that's really good. And I want to point out something. Moving the show in and out is just a huge job. There's 7 million pounds of freight that have to be moved in and out. And there's a lot of things that go into that. For example, on the last day of setup, we have a requirement that all the crates get off the floor. We have aisles and aisles and aisles of carpeting that have to be laid down, ready to go by 7 a.m. the next morning. So if you have crates, we're going to be hassling you to get them ready to go, put those labels on them, and get them so Freeman can pick them up. The other thing about this is that we don't want you tipping anybody. You've paid enough to be in Las Vegas. Don't add to that. And I can tell you most of the times, those tips don't really get you anything. You may think you're getting your crates faster, you're not. They're all staged in a way that they have to take them as they come. You know, it's like if you have the last seat in the airplane, you may be the first one on, you're going to be the last one off. And that's just the way it goes. And during the period that you're waiting for your boxes or your crates to come back, you need to stay in your booth. Do not ever abandon your booth during a period when there's a lot of people in the hall. There's laborers in the hall, there's workers in the hall, there's other exhibitors in the hall, there's still buyers in the hall. You just have to wait it out. So you can plan right now. The show closes at 4 o'clock on Friday. Do not get a flight at 6 o'clock. You know, when the show ends on Friday night, I always say, I had about 20,000 people tell me they have a flight at 7 o'clock on Friday night because they want to get their crates first. Well, those planes are really full. You should plan, if you're flying out, to go the next morning. I hate to make you stay in a hotel another night, but you don't need your blood pressure going up either. Okay.
Welcome back. Hey, Freeman, how do I find where I get my stuff? Where's my stuff?
Well, your stuff, if you look in your booth, there should be a flyer in your booth that tells you...
I didn't get no flyer.
Well, it should tell you exactly who your concierge is and who your floor managers are. You didn't...
I didn't get a stinking flyer. Where's the flyer?
Well, hold on a second. Relax for a second there. You can also... Oh, I left my smartphone in my room because I don't check it in my booth. You can also go online and download from our Concierge Elite, and you can find all that information on your smartphone or your iPad, but don't use it in your booth.
Yes. I heard that somewhere before.
A very smart man. The nice feature that it has is it'll text you all of the information. So if you're looking for a table, or you're looking for your empty crate, or you're looking for where your shipment is, it'll text you if you provide your cell number to the desk.
So I never have to go back to the service desk?
You will never have to go back to the service desk.
Unbelievable.
When you go to the SEMA show, make sure you download that app from Freeman. It'll be on the website. You can get it from iTunes, and you can never go to the service desk again.
The next thing you know, I'll be getting texts telling me when my chairs show up and my carpet's there.
You will.
Unbelievable.
You will, Evan.
Thank you, Freeman.
Okay, this is, thanks, guys. This can be overwhelming. You're hearing a lot of stuff you probably don't even understand what it's about. But SEMA goes out of its way, and Freeman too, to make sure you get good service, to make sure you're not hassled. So every hall has at least one, and most have 2 or 3 floor managers. Every hall, and more than one, concierge from Freeman. These are all experts. These are all people who know the show, who know the business. And they're all walking around all the time. When Peter did his session on Monday, he put up on the screen the pictures of the floor managers. We will give you a flyer with the picture of the floor manager, the cell phone number, every point of contact. Take advantage of that. You should never go to the service desk. You shouldn't have to. What if your freight's lost? What if something gets damaged? Call. Text. It's very, very simple. If you need something at the last minute, a chair, a table, a light, electrical, go through that process. It's not about the money. It's about getting good service and saving you time and energy. You don't want to go into the show feeling like, oh my God, it was miserable getting ready for the show. It was horrible. You want it to be easy. So, before I take questions, I want to say one more time. There is no proven method to win over somebody. It's you and your personality. It's you and the way you look to them. And you want to look really, really good. So all the things that we talked about, how you look, how you dress, how you smell, how you talk, how you act. Another thing I used to learn about was put something in their hand. Give them a part. Give them an item. Give them a catalog. And a lot of people are shying away from catalogs today. It's all about websites. More and more exhibitors are putting terminals in their booths or laptops and having their website up so they can take people to the website. Do whatever works for you, but that first 2 minutes that you're engaging this buyer is critical to you having a true meeting. What did my video say? 10 customers, 50 leads. That's like 2 customers a day. It's like 10 leads a day. That's not a lot. We have an exhibitor, actually they're in the room, that all they do is want to get leads. They get 3,000 leads at the show. They go back to their offices, they sort it out and determine which ones are qualified prospects, and then they contact them all. And what you heard me say yesterday, I'm going to repeat again today to all of you. Half of you in this room are not going to follow up on your leads. That's the numbers. You don't want to be in that half. We surveyed buyers more than once. What's your number one bitch about the SEMA show? Exhibitors don't follow up. I gave a guy my information. I gave him my card, told him I was interested. I haven't heard from him. And part of that is post-show syndrome. You get back from the show, and first of all, you're exhausted. You're really worn out from the experience. But it doesn't end there. It doesn't end until you have communicated with every one of them. I went to a show last year, and it wasn't a SEMA show. It was an electronic show. And I had a friend who was an exhibitor, and I went in the booth, and he was on his computer, and I said, "What are you doing?" He says, "It's my turn on the computer." I said, "What do you mean your turn?" He said, "Well, I have to send all the leads back to the office so they can start sending out catalogs, price sheets, and making calls." I said, "They're going to do it during the show?" He said, "Yeah." Well, I don't have an expectation you'll do that, but I have an expectation that on Monday, that'll be the first thing you do when you get back. Not your freight, not your booth, not let's rest, take a day off. Oh, I need a vacation day after the show. No, first, take your vacation day after you handle all the leads. I cannot emphasize this enough. Half of you will not do this. Why did you make the investment? Okay, let's take some questions. So right here. Wait for a mic.
Jennifer. When Jennifer and Sheldon was up there, Jennifer did something that is quite common. The badge. Remember that? When you turn the badge. That's invading the space, but that is a real problem when we have a single string badge. If you have the double string, they don't flip as easy. I'd say that about a third of the people that come in the booth, we have no idea who they are until we ask them to turn their badge over, which can be embarrassing. But any suggestions there?
I definitely would not ask. I think that's a little too aggressive because we're criticizing them.
For turning their badge?
Ask them their name.
Well, that's usually what we do.
Well, just remember it.
Your badge is turned around.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm one of those people, you walk up to me and you say hi, and I say I'm Chuck Schwartz, and it's good to meet you, and what's the name of your company? That has to be embedded in your brain. It is what it is. Even when we have a double lanyard, they turn around. People bend down and do things, they twist. We as show managers do it all the time. We see somebody with their badge turned, we turn it. We tell them to turn it. But you shouldn't do it to somebody you don't know. Now, if it's your customer, you might say something like, "Hey, you travel with incognito," or, you don't want anybody to know who you are. And a person who really doesn't want somebody to know who they are won't wear a badge. But that's a good point.
Yeah, Chuck, do you allow us to do drawings and giveaways, and do you personally think that's a good idea if we've got merch, like the jacket like this with the logo embroidered on the back, and we're going to give maybe 10 of them away during the show, have people sign up for that?
It's especially a great idea if I have a chance to win. The answer is yes. Yes, absolutely. And a lot of companies do drawings. A lot of companies do promotions, especially their customers. They might send out a card that says, this will give you a free spin on our Chuck-a-Luck, or this will give you a chance to win an iPad. All those kind of things attract people. Now, I will say this, there is an element of buyers who don't pay attention to that stuff. They are totally business focused. They are there to find new suppliers, they're there to find product, but they're not offended by it. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's all about hooking people to stop by. And then you have to sort out who's a prospect and who isn't. You have to qualify everybody, ultimately, whether you do it at the show or later. You know, part of the issue we're all faced with today is what I call the Amazon.com concept. More and more companies are selling one at a time. The old days, if you have to buy a case lot or 6 of something or 12 of something, is starting to go away. So we have to adjust to selling sometimes smaller buyers, buyers who are not going to buy truckloads, container loads, things like that. So it is a different mindset. Anybody else? In the back.
Chuck, all the points you made about booth etiquette are really, although they seem common sense, I know for a fact that they're great because I know that our team has violated every single one of them. Would it be easy for you to give us a list of those? I tried to take furious, copious notes, but I may have missed a couple. I'd love to have a bullet pointed list of every point you made, and I'm going to email it out to our team before we can go.
You know what? And we hadn't talked about this before, but SEMA produces 2 extremely good webinars. You'll get an announcement of them. I don't. Who remembers the dates? Anyone in the room? Okay, middle of August, middle of September. And those actually are PowerPoints. And in that PowerPoint, I have that list. And you can download it. I can send you the PowerPoint. I'm happy to provide that list. And you're right, it is common sense, but it's so common sense that we don't think about it. You know, when you get ready to leave the hotel room, the last thing you do before you leave is do a quick check of your own breath. Does it smell of the scotch I had? So, yeah, it was an excellent point. It's so basic. The other thing is if you have a team in the booth, make sure you have a schedule. Here's your show schedule. Tuesday, you're expected in the booth at 7 a.m. Plan to leave at 6 p.m. And here's what we're going to be doing, and here's the lunch schedule. I had a friend who was a huge buyer, did not want to wear a buyer badge, insisted they would not wear a buyer badge. And I said to him, I'm not going to let you come in if you don't wear a buyer badge. And she wanted a particular product, and I took her to that booth. And she walked into that booth, and the exhibitor, I introduced her to the exhibitor, and the exhibitor didn't handle her properly. And she was casual, and she, the customer, was casual, but he was all business, and he could not relax. He was so nervous about all this. And while they were talking, another member of the staff came over and said, hey, Dolly, I'm going to lunch. And my friend was offended that they interrupted. She says, come on, we're leaving. Now, is she right? No, of course not. But it points out, don't make that mistake. How do you feel when you're at the checkout in the grocery store and another checker hollers at your checker and says, hey, what time you go on break? And she stops ringing you out. And you're really not in a hurry, but that just puts you in I'm in a hurry mode, and you're irritated. Well, put that in your booth. Don't let that happen. Have ground rules for everybody. That's why you need these meetings. Here's the way we're going to operate. Now, we haven't talked about the single most important thing about your staff. They better know the product line. And if they don't, they're going to hurt you. Because another thing buyers don't like is the exhibitor saying, I'll ask somebody. or I'll find out. Remember what I said about the dealer? What do you know about engines? When you go to a car dealer, you want to get rid of the sales guy, say, what do you know about cams? Because I want to know about the cam and the engine. Of course, he won't know anything. I said, well, go get me another sales guy. Your people have to know the product line as good as you, maybe even better. Every single person in the booth. That's why I am opposed to the booth babes, because they're not knowledgeable. Now, some of them are well-trained, and some of them are permanent with a company and know the product line, but most of them are rent-a-girls. So you need to know that whoever's coming has to be trained. You're going to do that training. When I did the budget program yesterday, somebody said to me, why did you have training as a budget item? I said, that's training of your staff. Go to pizza, go to bowling, go to sushi, do something together, talking about the show, getting ready, how are we going to sell? The other thing I hear all the time, where'd you put the price list? Where'd you put the catalogs? Where'd you put the laptop? Where'd you put the, everyone should know where everything is in the booth. Good communication amongst yourselves. Okay, another question.
Good morning. I'd like to stand up for a second because I want to address the situation. The gentleman's comment a few minutes ago. You see I'm standing up here and my badge is turned around. More than half the time when I've been at this two-day conference, every time I turn it like this and a few minutes like this. I think the comment is these types of lanyards ought to be outlawed. Okay. I came here to SEMA, and SEMA gave me this lanyard, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so we have the same situation again. My professional opinion is I've seen a lot of these at shows, and I do not know why they make them. But as a suggestion, the double lanyard, or whatever you call them, is much better, and I think that's a point that should be taken.
Well, it's a good point, and at the SEMA show, we give you a double post lanyard. I got to tell you a story. We do what you should do. We have a running critique of everything we do. Everybody in our company carries a little pad with them, like this, and every time something happens, we write it down. At the end of the day, we go in the computer. We call it a post-show analysis, PSA. Guys know what that is. PSA, post-show analysis. And every day at the show, we take the notes out of this pad and we write them in that post-show analysis. And yesterday, our staff had that same discussion, that next year we got to do what we do with the show. There has to be a double post lanyard. For the same reason, we need to practice what we preach. We probably did it on the cheap, and that was a mistake. The challenge we have is this. A lot of exhibitors give out lanyards and give out badge holders. And it's a difficult thing to fight. They're doing it for marketing reasons, promotional reasons, and we respect that. But it does make it challenging. So you are absolutely 100% right. But even the doubles turn around, but there's less chance of it. Yes. Wait for a mic.
Wait, can I?
Oh, I'm sorry, we're over here first. Mike.
Do you have any suggestions for changing the mindset of, we've tried the do's and don'ts, we've, shown them different, what it looks like when they're on their phone or whatever, and then they just walk right outside the booth, they're still wearing their branded shirt, and then they're on their phone circling the booth. Do you have any suggestions for changing the mindset of, our national sales managers who say they know how to do it, they've been doing it for 20 years, but they want to work the booth their way, and we might have some new ways to think about it, but they don't want to listen.
Well, one thing I've done quite a few times is I've critiqued the booth when it's set up. I've had exhibitors call me down and say, I want you to look at my booth. Let me know what you think of it. And we will tell you, it won't just be me, but our staff will critique it for you and tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's interesting you bring this up because what you probably don't know is we take a photo of every single booth, every year. So we have a photo of your booth. And we go through them and look at them. And it's sort of like Dumb and Dumber sometimes. And we say, I can't believe this booth. How did they put 5,000 pounds of freight in a 10 by 10? Yeah. Or, better yet, somebody tell me whose booth this is. Is there a way to find the name of the company somewhere? Or better yet, is there an opening? Would you have to have a pogo stick to get in the booth? So she's absolutely right. People get it fixed in their head the way it should look. And you need to stand back. You know, you're looking at me, one person. I'm looking at a lot of people, you know. So you're focused on me. So if I have my hand in my pocket or I fold my hand, you all know it right away. But I'm looking at you. If you fold your hands, I'm not going to see it. I'm looking at 150 people. Well, it's the same with a booth. The sales manager sees the booth his way. But from a professional standpoint, that's narrow-minded. He's sort of in a vacuum, or she. So the answer is not a simple answer. But definitely, you could write us, say, take a look at our photos and tell us what you think. And the other thing we see sometimes, I can't believe what they spent on that booth. We don't want you to spend that. Okay, one last question.
Yeah, I wanted to back up the badge for just a second. You did the double poll, or the double poll thing, whatever it's called. But I think probably about 30-40% that it's turned around. And you could qualify to some degree on the company, kind of just an idea what we're talking about. About 20-30% some people look at you kind of smile and say, well, it's not very much.
911. We hate that. And by the way, I think this year, I can't guarantee this, I think we're going to print the badge on both sides. Yeah. So that will eliminate the problem. It's a technological challenge. But the guy who was here from Copy Systems yesterday confirmed that they think they'll be able to do it. So that's number one. Number two, we really need to know who those badges belong to. Most of you don't try to beat the system, but a lot of people are out there giving badges to anybody and everybody. I don't know if Alan Dicker is still here, but Alan is the social media internet guru for SEMA, and he tracks Craigslist, as do I. And you will not believe how many exhibitors sell badges on Craigslist. In fact, we had a phenomenon last year. An exhibitor was standing out in front of South Hall selling badges. Yes, an exhibitor. So it's a tough thing to control. You know, the good news is it's the SEMA show. It's like the Super Bowl. Everybody wants to be here. And it's hard for us to filter and keep those out that shouldn't be coming in. But yet they're all car people. And I know they bug you and they take your time, but the minute somebody says that, then you shouldn't be wasting your time with them. Okay, well, first of all, how about a hand for all the actors and the Sin City players?
Just one comment real quick. My first year at SEMA, I used a printer that had been soliciting me to get, last minute printing. And after I used them, he proceeded to harass me to get him a badge to go to SEMA. Like text messages and phone calls. Did you give me a badge? Did you give me a badge? I will never use them again.
My dryer went out day before yesterday. And I was busy getting ready to come over here Monday morning. And I got the dryer repair guy over. And he came through my garage. I have a 32 Ford. And he said, wow, that's a cool car. And he says, why does it say SEMA all over it? I said, well, I produce a SEMA show. He says, I love that show. I said, do you go? Every year I get a badge. I said, well, where do you get it? Oh, I buy it from so-and-so. There is no easy solution to this. We spend, you won't believe what we spend. If I bet the number is $100,000 just to audit the badges. But the one loophole is the exhibitor. If you're entitled to 10 badges and you only need 6, you have 4 extra badges. A lot of people see that as cash, as money. So it's very challenging. We're working on programs, hopefully we'll probably have cornea scanners and things like that. But truly, it's a challenge. Thank you very much.